I hope you have watched the previous part before watching it. If not, link is in the description. The party was able to defeat the giant rabbit after much effort. They took about 8 minutes per monster. The other parties also take about 3 to 8 minutes, which is quite a while for our protagonist. He sees 2 safety officers sitting on a bench and enjoying themselves. Our protagonist deduced that these officers won't care unless a party's about to be wiped. There was no need to watch out for them. Choi opened his status window and decided to play solo as his stats were more than enough. He used stealth to move inside the Horned Rabbit dungeon. Somewhere deep within the Horned Rabbit dungeon, Seowu Guild Team 1's assistant manager with healer Kim Jisoo had appointed a team of 2 players to catch the Horned Rabbit chief. The assistant manager wanted to hunt it for the 4th class advancement condition. But to their dismay, it wasn't appearing. It has already been 15 days, but it did not appear anywhere. The moment it would appear, she would kill it in a second. Both the girls wore Cloak of Darkness and started to come out of the dungeon talking about their other teams. On their way, they found Choi coming in stealth mode. He passed them but couldn't feel them, whereas they could easily feel him. Both the girls wondered if he had come there by himself or if he had lost his party members. He didn't have a single wound, so that was not the case, and on top of it he was using stealth. Finally, they saw his rented equipment and deduced that he was a total newbie. The manager thought of him as a crazy idiot, but our protagonist simply killed the first monster with a single strike, which put them in shock. They decided to watch over him. After facing the first monster, he trembled in fear. But it was all for his family, so he continued slaying the rabbits. He had hunted a lot of them but didn't find a single item. He then ambushed a rabbit from its back. On seeing his actions, the girls wondered if he wasn't a newbie. The reason why Choi didn't get any items was just because of the law of 20 levels. When one hunts a monster with a higher level, one can get a normal amount of experience points and items. But when hunting a monster that's 20 levels lower than them, they can't gain any experience points. The probability of magic power in the monster's corpse changing into magic stones and items goes down, and no items appear in a monster that's 20 levels lower than them. While our protagonist continued slaying the rabbits, the girls could finally come to a decision that it was obviously his first hunt. After slaying many rabbits, he could only get 5 magic stones, but his level didn't increase. Even if he were hunting with a party, he should have leveled up by now with those many monsters. After continuing his slaying for 5 hours, he opened his stats window, but still his level couldn't increase. It was something weird, as he heard that it usually took a day or 2 to level up. Finally, he understood that he would be just stuck on level 1 for his entire life. This made him depressed, and the girls could also feel the change in atmosphere due to his sorrow. He had earned 105,000 points in the past 10 days selling electronics, but was surprised on finding that he was making 100 points per kill from hunting. He was overjoyed because of it, and decided to be optimistic, as this wasn't a bad reward for his hard work. While he was sitting and thinking, a rabbit tried to ambush from behind, but being too OP, Choi again slayed him with one single strike without even looking towards it. Then he stood up and continued his killing spree. After a while, he received a notice of unbelievable achievement of normal rank. He had hunted 300 high-level horned rabbit by himself, and because of it he was given that title of Horned Rabbit Hunter normal rank. With that title, his constitution stat increased by 1, and the title can grow as a rare rank too. He had already seen about it on the internet. It was something everyone could get, normally, 1 level up before they could hunt 300 monsters, so just because of leveling up others do not get it. At last he was happy with the title, as he was getting something for his hard work. The manager was overjoyed, thinking that she had caught the first big fish in a while. He had cut the windpipe of the horned rabbit in 1 stroke. If it was once or twice, it could have been luck. However, it was not the case. Even when surrounded by multiple, he hunted them in 1 stroke. After seeing his talent, the manager decided to bring him into their guild no matter what. While Choi was collecting magical stones, the girls decided to show themselves to Choi. They disguised themselves as safety officers, on which Choi could not believe them as there was no presence inside the dungeon, and further to him it looked like they didn't have any IDs. The manager further told him that they were tasked to protect the inside of the dimensional gate, and were on their way out when they saw him, and he could not sense their presence just because they were using hiding-type skills. Choi was surprised as he couldn't even hear them breathing, let alone their presence. The manager was intrigued because his skill was far too good to be hunting rabbits, and further asked him of his levels. But Choi could not tell them about being only level 1 as nothing good could come out on telling his level, but still he had 270 total stats. Choi refused to speak about his level and stats. The manager told him that she was from Seowu Guild. It was a large-scale guild that the Seowu Group sponsors, which was one of the largest enterprises that everyone in Korea knows about. The manager further added if he could show his status window, she would certainly help him to get into Seowu Guild. That was troublesome for the protagonist as it seemed that he had a penalty of being unable to level up. A level 1 player having high stats and many skills would be suspicious. Just because of this many reasons, he declined their offer and started going out of the dungeon. He was once again stopped by the girls and asked of his reasons for not joining the Seowu Guild even when he knew about the guild. He brushes them off with the reason of not liking to be under any affiliation. This made the manager ask if he had connection with any other guild. Choi denied it too and told them to move aside. At last, they gave him a card if he changes his mind. After coming out of the dungeon, Choi decided to be careful from that point onwards. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for the next part.